Well, we're almost 2 weeks into retirement. It hasn't gone exactly like we planned, but we're going to share how it's gone, everything from how it's been feeling for me, and see if it's similar to what happened to you or what you think's going to happen to you as you enter this stage of life. So my plan was I was going to record a couple minutes each day of my first week of retirement, and I did that on the first 2 days.
Started out strong.
Yeah, and then on day 3, we had a tragedy strike my family, and if you watched last week's video, you know about that, so I'm not going to go into that much anymore, but that kind of made the rest of that week just fly by. Yeah. And it's really still kind of a blur, and I don't think anything different would have happened if I still would have been working. I mean, I would have left work and did what I did for my family last week. But, that being said, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some clips from those first couple of days of videos, just kind of where my head was. Robbie's in the day 2 portion of that. We were out on a walk. So we're going to show you those right now. I thought I'd just share some of my thoughts after day 1 of actually leaving my job for retirement. It was a different feeling than I expected. I've got a lot of good people that were working for me at my job and some relationships that I'm going to miss. So what it made me think of is I really need to make sure that I invest in keeping some of those relationships. I know all of them won't survive the test of being separate, and have differing interests, and obviously with my newfound freedom, I'm going to have a lot of things to do that I won't be able to share with those people that are still working, but there are a number of them that I sure would like to at least stay in touch with and stay engaged with. I guess I'm more the type of a person that when I have engaged with people, even if they were my employees, so to speak, I try to make it like a family, that we're just working together as a family. And I think that happened with this set of people, and therefore it was sad. It was sadder than I anticipated to leave the job. But it was the right thing. Still the right thing for sure. And now what I did after my first day is I left and I went home and I packed up my truck, and I had been saying I was going to go spend some time turkey hunting. And I did that. And I guess I'm fortunate enough, or I'm blessed that the first morning out I got a bird, and now going back home. I live in Missouri, and I have a chance later this week to get another one if I choose to. But I was kind of thinking I was going to have a couple of days of, I don't know, solitude to think about the new adventure of retirement. And I still do. I mean, my wife's got to work on Monday, but now I'm going to go back home and spend the next day and a half with her until she goes to her job. I don't really know what to think about the feelings that I'm feeling. There is a little bit of a sense of loss. There's a little bit of a sense of, what am I going to do now? Even though I have a lot kind of on my plate already that is in the works, is in the plan, it's not a job, right? So that it is different, after 40 years of working, to not have a Monday morning that I need to go to. So it's interesting. And granted, I'm only literally 24 hours into this whole retirement thing. So we'll see where it takes me. Yeah, that's day 1. It's Saturday, and I am looking forward to not having to worry about work when it comes to Sunday evening. So we'll see how that goes. Day 2 of retirement, and yeah, I mean, it feels good, but it's a different feeling than I was anticipating, I think.
Tomorrow's Monday.
Tomorrow's Monday. That is a good thing. Thankfully, I don't have to put any time thinking about what my week holds for
next week.
for work.
Yeah.
So, but it is, it's interesting. We had church this morning and a lot of people obviously congratulating me on my retirement and asking me what I'm going to do. And, as you know, if you watch the channel, I am going to do some things with the church. So that's part of the plan. But it's funny, I'm already noticing, in other videos and people that we've talked to, they talk about how your time fills up really quickly.
Yeah.
And I have had one of the pastors, actually the pastor that I'm working with to start this new ministry at church. He called me up this week and said, hey, now that you're going to have this time on your hands, I've got some extra stuff for you. And I did tell him, we're going to have to talk about it because I don't want, number one, I don't want all my time to fill up. And number two, I don't want the work that I'm going to start doing with the church to feel like a job.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be you're just going to have to learn how to say no.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, and I've had that conversation with people too. I'm going to have to learn how to say no. So we're going to go down that route.
So I think everybody assumes when you're retired, you have nothing to do.
Right. So, nothing but time on your hands.
That's right. But what have we worked all of our lives for?
Yeah.
To be able to.
Yep.
Not have anything on our hands unless we want to.
So, the first couple of days have been good. Went out yesterday hunting and spent some time in the Bible. And yeah, it was a good day all around. But I think, if I'm honest, I'm probably a little on edge. I feel like there's just a little bit of trepidation over what the future actually holds, even though I've done all this planning and trying to get prepared. So hopefully that'll work itself out over the next days and weeks.
Right.
But I think tomorrow I'm going to go out and do some fishing, probably by myself. Robbie has to get up and go to work. Feel bad for her, but that's kind of her choice.
That's right. My choice.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so if you're getting close, I'm going to try to maybe at least this first week do a couple minutes each day and tell you where my head and the heart's at. So hope you come along for the ride. All right. So then the rest of that first week, like I said, I was just dealing with our family's issue. And when that was all concluded, basically exactly a week after I retired, a week and a day, I guess, we came back home from Des Moines where the services were. And both of my girls came back to town, obviously, for their cousin's funeral. And they came with us. So that weekend had family in our house, and we definitely enjoyed the time. But again, that was not kind of in our plan for our first couple weeks retirement. So, I guess maybe that is the plan is you really never know what's going to happen. Like I've said many times before, another reason to retire is you don't know what tomorrow holds. And that was really brought home during that first week of retirement.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the girls and their significant others, they both went home on Sunday. And it all kind of caught up to Rich. So
yeah, I don't know what happened. I got some sort of a bug and I know a lot of you ladies out there think men don't know how to be sick, and we're big babies, but I was a big baby. And this isn't like me. I slept like 6-7 hours that day. I had a fever, I had the chills and a little bit of shivering here and there. I must have caught something. I'm sure, hugged a lot of people, shook a lot of hands, probably got something throughout the week, and it caught up to me and hit me hard on Sunday. And so, yeah, we didn't really do much on Sunday at all. And then on Monday, I was actually planning on going and playing golf.
Right. Yeah.
But Sunday night, I was still feeling pretty rough, so I canceled the golf game. But Monday morning came around and I wasn't too bad off.
Right. Yeah. And I think we tried to just kind of rest on Monday. It was still, I think, hitting us from the week before, how sleep deprived, physically, emotionally drained we were. So Monday was still kind of a recovery day, I would say.
Yeah, and it was Robbie's birthday, so
yeah, That's right.
So
It kind of got lost in the shuffle.
it did get lost in the shuffle a little
That's
bit.
okay.
But I ended up going out instead of going golfing in the morning. I went with a friend to a driving range later in the day, and then Robbie and I had a nice dinner on Monday night. And then I guess so. Actually, we're recording this Wednesday evening. Tuesday, we had a gathering with our small group. They were celebrating me retiring. But the day on Tuesday, what did we do?
We took the boat out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wanted to go fishing. And so we did. We got up in the morning. We both worked out. Robbie did some volunteer work on Tuesday morning. And then we went on the lake. And that's kind of been our plan to do quite a bit.
Yes, for sure. And, obviously the loss of our nephew was very significant and very hard. It's been hard for me trying to figure out Rich's mood, kind of, because there's definitely, he's not his normal self. And I'm not, part of that I do think is obviously from the loss of a loved one, but I also see him kind of daily trying to figure out this new thing called retirement, which is interesting because he doesn't typically struggle with things. And I wouldn't say you're struggling. I'm just saying I would just say he's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been, for us, there's just a little tension.
Yeah.
I think, right? And like, I'm asking her what's wrong. She's asking me what's wrong. Yeah, I think that all comes back to our heads just in a weird place, right? Some of it is, even though I feel like we're really prepared financially for retirement, we're spending money, I guess, normally, but there is this concern, hey, I don't have a job anymore, but I'm powering through that. And
I'm struggling a little bit. Yeah, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. So we've had more than one conversation over the last couple of weeks about this whole money thing. And, this is why we spent all these years kind of saving and not doing stuff so that at this point we wouldn't worry about it. So I've been saying that a lot, but if I'm honest, it's still a worry. Like, it's still something that you think about.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think as time goes on, I obviously am the one that needs to get more comfortable with all of it, as far as the money issue goes. And I think time will help me with that, as long as time proves that it's all going to be okay, which it will be. It will. I have no doubt. So that's,
she has some doubt.
Oh, okay. I have a little doubt, a tiny bit of doubt, but I trust him, fully trust him. I trust our financial advisor. So they say it's all going to be good. It's all going to be good. I think the one of the other things too, we've talked about it a little bit, but so if you've watched any of our other videos, I unexpectedly lost my job last fall. So I was kind of forced into early retirement, I guess. And I do work now. I just do some as needed stuff occasionally, once or twice a week, maybe, for an IV clinic. But with that being said, I have adjusted and gotten my schedule. Like, I'm used to my thing and I'm used to how I do it. And all of a sudden, he's here like 24/7. Like, he's in my space in the morning. He's in my space in the afternoon. And so I think both of us, he's adjusting to being around me all the time, and I'm adjusting to being around him. And I feel like we're just kind of walking around, like tiptoeing around each other.
A little bit of eggshells right now.
Which I also think is very normal.
Right.
Because he's got to find his way, just like I had to find my way last fall when all of a sudden I was out of a job.
Right.
And that took time.
Yeah, and I think, like today, she went and worked her job today, and today was kind of what I imagined retirement being about. Like, there was a list of stuff that I needed to get done because we are going out of town for a few days tomorrow to visit some family back up in Iowa again. But it was just nice driving around during the day and, getting a few errands done. I actually had lunch with a former coworker of mine, also retired, and he was living his best life in retirement. And I had lunch with him, and I went to the hardware store, and I went to Costco and bought too much like normal.
I can't let him go to Costco by himself. I'm telling you.
But just the feeling like I wasn't in a hurry.
Yeah, there's no time schedule.
Yeah, and I got home, and I got home when other people would have starting to get off work, but I didn't have any traffic, and I was home and I could just sit down for a few minutes and relax, and then was able to make her dinner when she got home. So I do think we'll be settling into retirement just fine, but it's not. I guess
it doesn't start out like a bed of roses.
Yeah, I think that yeah, sure, we had the tragedy, but I think just my headspace, as documented in those first couple of days, it wasn't all this joyful rainbow that I thought maybe it was going to be, just because of the life change part of it, I think.
Right, and it's the loss of friendships that are like family.
Yeah, that all those. You don't necessarily have to lose the people from work, but it's just different.
It's different,
right?
Yeah.
And then I think there's because we retired a little younger, a lot of our friends are still working. Yep. So we are going to have to find things to do together and separately during the day and make new friends and have new activities. So, I mean, we knew all this going in. Yeah. But
now we're actually living it.
Yeah. The reality is hitting home a little bit.
It is. It is. And it's all going to be good. It will be.
Yeah. No regrets. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. No regrets. No second guessing this decision. Right. It's just, again, I'm trying to be honest and kind of prepare you for when you have this step in your journey, and again, if you've already there, let me know how your first couple of weeks were and see how they compare. Did you have this kind of sense of loss from your work family, so to speak? I know a lot of you ran away from work because you didn't like it, but I know there's a lot of you that did appreciate, the people that you worked with too. 6 or 8 weeks ago, I did a video on when I announced my retirement, and then as I was telling people about it, some of the surprises that I heard from people that are still in the workforce. If you want to see about that one, we'll share it here. Thanks for watching our stuff, and God bless.